Hello and welcome to this video on Japanese candlesticks, presented by spreadbettingportal.com. So what are they? Well, Japanese candlesticks are becoming an increasingly popular way to visualize a price movement, and one of the cool things is that they provide a means of showing more data in a simple to read presentation. There's an open, high, low, close in the data in one simple graphic. And the best way of me being able to example of me being able to show you that is if I show you what a normal chart looks like, and then we look at a candlestick chart. So first of all, here we have just a normal chart. This is a normal linear line graph. All it's doing is showing you the close in the market. This is what we tend to see in the news and in everything that we see on the newspapers and so on. A simple representation of where the price closed. And here we have the FTSE. And now I'm going to show you the same chart, the exact same chart with all the same information and more, but with candlesticks. So this is the same data, but represented in Japanese candlesticks. And what they're showing you more of is the open, the high, the low, and the close of the daily price move for each day over the same period. So if we go back, that's the one we're used to seeing in newspapers, and that's Japanese candlesticks. And with this additional amount of information, it allows us to read more information into the chart and make better decisions. So how do we read these candlesticks? Because looking at them, they don't seem to make any sense. Well, first of all, it's actually really quite simple to read, but just looking at them like that, it kind of, why are some bigger than the others? Why are some red and some white? But let's just look at this example here. First of all, any positive candle, a bullish candle, is usually represented as a clear candle. It's white. So if it's going up in value, if the market opened in the morning and then closed and it was more than it opened at, in other words, it was going up in value and it closed higher than it opened, the body, known as the real body, which you could sort of see as the wax of the candle, would be white. It's always white. And these lines, these are called wicks or shadows, show the intraday movement. So what they're showing is where the price of that particular chart or trade or whatever moved during the day. So here we have the open and here we have the close. But during that day, it reached a high that reached this level. And obviously with it being in a chart, we see here, we see where it's sort of reached a price. So here we have the clear ones. We take this one example. We have the open around just above 5,900. Then we have the close, which is around about, say, 5,950. But it actually reached above during the day. The intraday movement actually reached above 5,950. And the intraday movement during the day actually sank below the open at one point. So it allows us to see a lot more information than we would normally get from just a simple graph, just a plotted line. Now, for a bearish candle, they're always a solid color. Now, they don't necessarily have to be black. Usually, as we can see here, a bearish candle would be red. But it's usually a solid color, so we represented it as black here. And it's kind of the reverse. We still have the intraday high and the low. That remains the same in terms of the shadow, the wicks that we have that give that representation of the candle wick. It's just the body changes. So if the color is red or a solid color, we will know that the open is the top line and that the close is the one that's at the bottom. So why is that? Well, it's obviously the reverse of a bullish candle. A bullish candle opens here and closes here because it's increased in value. So a bearish candle obviously must be of a lower value. So its open is going to be a lot higher than its close, and its close is going to be a lot lower than its open. So if we go back and look at some of these negative candles, you know, we have some huge ones where the market's opened and it actually just sank during the day. It just went plummeted. Just a tiny bit there, that was the intraday move, but it's pretty much closed at its lowest point. And here we have the open and close, and there wasn't much movement during the day in terms of where it opened and closed, but there was quite a bit of intraday movement. It went a bit higher than it opened, but predominantly it went lower than it opened. And here we have the reverse of that, where, you know, the market opened and then closed, but they actually was quite bullish during the day, but didn't have the energy to move beyond that. So from reading these candles, you can tell a lot of information. And don't forget, you know, with trading, with analysis, with technical analysis, we're looking at sentiment. And what better way of seeing what sentiment there is in a trade, where we can see, you know, kind of how the market has moved during the day, intraday, and where it's opened and closed, and how much of that move is, and kind of where it is in that intraday move as well. And that gives us so much more information than, say, you know, the line graph, which we see here. I would much rather, as a trader, have this telling me all the information about the open, high, low, and close than I would with this. I would no way would I really want to, or ever want to, trade with this information. I would always choose candlesticks over simple line graphs. So please understand that with Japanese candlesticks, it really is, you know, much more than just the data that's being shown. One of the great things with Japanese candlesticks, because it's been going for so long, and it's become somewhat of an art in its own right, is that the Japanese, and over many years, started to notice that there were certain price patterns, candles in groups, that would signify certain price moves. And it was these moves that are becoming more common as a means of gauging sentiment in the market. So they would not only use sort of, you know, the information that these candles are giving in terms of, you know, the additional information of the open, high, and low and close, but it's these additional patterns that we would see, as we can see here, that would allow us to gauge, you know, what's likely to happen. And, you know, when we see a lot of these sort of Japanese named candlesticks to give, you know, movements that can be predicted from these. And I would recommend, you know, anyone that's wanting to really learn about technical analysis to really get into Japanese candlesticks. They're a tremendous way of learning how to trade. Visually, they're easy to learn, easy to see. There are an awful lot of patterns, but there's some very common ones to begin with that you can learn, and it's a great way of learning. You know, just something completely new. You know, it sort of makes trading kind of exciting. So don't forget, you know, trading really is a lifelong studying. It's about learning and developing and growing as a trader, as well as making money. But, you know, you're always learning, and never ever assume that you know it all. Just because you've made some profit doesn't make you, you know, some trading god. It could just mean you got a bit lucky. But understand why you're profiting, and as much as understand why you're losing money as well. And that comes about by knowledge. And learn from the best. You know, there's a lot of very skilled, excellent traders out there, some of which you'll see on forums and on some brilliant websites, as well as on this website too. And it's about applying a little at a time and monitoring your results and seeing how you feel as a trader and how you react as a trader as well. So, you know, trading is a lifelong study. It's, if done well and done sensibly, can lead to some very good profits. Don't take it too seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously when you're doing it either. And don't forget to come by and say hello to us, guys. You know, pay us a visit at spreadbettingportal.com. Got some really wonderful articles for you guys to read, and we've got some amazing deals from the leading brokers being offered too. So come visit us at spreadbettingportal.com.